Hello, everybody. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. A little tech test to make sure everything's rocking and rolling. It all appears to be working fine. I can see we've got Steve Reed with us, bright and early, and also Amy Tate. Good afternoon to you guys. Thanks a lot for the share, Steve. Means a lot. It is Easter Saturday, so we're expecting a few more people to be out and about enjoying a little bit of the freedom that they've been gifted to them. We're sure to be having a lot more people watching the recording, so thank you for being here. Today, we are discussing the mystery that is the Facebook algorithm. I'm sure it's no surprise to many people to hear that word, although most won't have a clue what it actually means. And today I am here to try and lift the lid on that. I've got a studio guest who I'm going to be going to very shortly. But before I do that, I'll give you a little bit of an insight. Most of the people who are watching this will be more than familiar with myself as a promoter, as a DJ, former producer. I've had no training on Facebook, only the training that I've amassed myself down the years. And I have found through various means what works best for myself. My studio guest is going to be able to tell me if I'm doing it right, tell me where I'm going wrong, and also share her knowledge with you. I always think at the beginning, yeah, there's a few things that I want to say, and then because I can see my guest waiting to come on, and I think, no, just shut up, just go to the guest, go to the guest. So what I'm going to do is turn up my channel and welcome along my guest for the day, the lovely Lisa Hewitt. Good afternoon, how are you?
Good afternoon, Andy. How are you?
I'm very good indeed. I'm very good. A bit of a manic morning for myself,
Yeah,
so I'll begin a little bit flustered today. And anybody that does these live things understands that how it just the time suddenly creeps up on you, doesn't it? As
yeah,
you,
it
as you
does.
as you found out yesterday.
Yeah, I know. I don't know where the time went.
It is insane. So while I'm talking to you, I'm just going to draw everyone's attention to a little
Okay.
poll that I've opened up the show with. And it's a question that I put to everybody. And it says, what is more important to you on Facebook? Seeing posts
Mm.
from your closest friends, or promoting myself, my services, or my business? Now, we've had a couple of people who have answered that question, and we'll come back and look at that a little bit later on when we've spoken. So, to begin, the topic is the Facebook algorithm, what it is, and how we can make Facebook work for you. Now, I did just skirt around the issue and say that I am by no means an expert on this. I do have my own little ways that I know works for myself. You do have more experience than me. But are you super qualified, or are you just the same as me? Do tell me.
I'm all right, Andy. I've had a few years' experience with running events, and that was one of my main focuses, really, with the social media element to gain more knowledge with it, so I can be more inept in getting a following and getting people to the events, really. So I just went all in with that and learned and went back to school, so to speak. And we're always learning, aren't we? Because we're in that, obviously, since the pandemic and everything, it's sort of forced our hand a bit to learn more about it because stores haven't been open, there haven't been live events, so it's all been virtual. So, people are sort of chomping at the bit to know more, aren't they?
Indeed,
So,
they are.
and we're learning every day because Facebook even, and their algorithms changing all the time. New technologies are coming out. So there's new platforms coming out. So it's in our interest, really. It was in my interest to really like sort of learn and grow my skills, learn as a person to grow more, really, and
Great.
just to readapt, with this new world we're in.
Okay, so let's roll it back. Yesterday we spoke very briefly while we were testing out the camera, testing out
Yeah.
the audio, and I always like to not speak too much to my guests beforehand. I like to try and make it as natural as possible. So I don't really know. I read your very impressive biography, But from your own words, tell us all about Lisa. And
You're making me blush, or
I
is that
don't
just the reflection of the jacket?
no. Tell us all about yourself and why you are in such a strong position to be able to give this advice to people now.
Right. So, God, really, I started in the events industry. I've worked with many people. I'm happy now to call my friends. I was a former event organizer. I've worked with Creamfields. I've worked with Bentley, predominantly on live events. But obviously the build and the preparation are key, really. I've worked with charity. I've worked with the Christie's Hospital. I've worked with Kidney Research UK. I've worked with U2, Alicia Keys. I've worked with BlackBerry. So it's like I'm name dropping all these people, but it spans over. Well, I'm going to show my age now. It spans over like 20 plus years,
No,
25,
get off.
actually, yeah, 28 years of experience, maybe a little bit more, in the event sector, because I love, interacting with people. And I think that's what's great about now what you're doing is you're not just behind the scenes, you're engaging with people. So, and you're not shy. I'm not shy in that respect. Although we do get a little bit nervous when it's our own events,
Hmm.
and also, I can get a little bit camera shy, but that's very rare. So really where my expertise come in is I've got 28 years of event management experience. A lot of it was out in the field, working for various companies, myself, and then also organising my own events, my own music festivals, from small venues to larger scale events, for charities. People have asked me to organise and get involved, really, because I love anything to do with music, and it's not just that side of things, but corporate as well. So
Hmm.
I sort of developed from a promotional activity, in the experiential marketing, to then working behind campaigns, organising campaigns, and then coming over to the social media element. I wanted to get to know more and learn more. I currently work with a friend of mine on a magazine. So I don't really like blowing my own trumpet. Why don't you blow it?
Well, no, I think it's important for
Yeah,
you're only sharing your
yeah,
expertise and the facts. You come across as being very much like myself.
yeah.
Some people will warm to it immediately, and others will say, "Why is she dropping all these names?" But that's not for us to be concerned about, is it? While we're talking about some people, because it is very much a social thing, let me
Mm,
head on over very quickly to the people who are commenting inside the room. So you can see that, can't you, on the Zoom screen that I'm sharing? Is it a little small for you, or can you read it?
it is a little small, yes. I've got my glasses on, but I'd have to
Well, if
come
you
really close to the
if
screen.
you want to go over to the Facebook, it's not an issue, and read the comments there. But I'll read them out to
Okay,
you anyway.
okay,
So I've already said hi to Amy, hi to Joey, hi to Caroline. Now we got to give a special mention to Caroline. We will
yes,
talk about her in length a little bit later on. Caroline was meant
yes.
to be joining us, unfortunately a little bit under the weather. So we will make that happen another time, Caroline. So thank you for having the courage to bow out today if you weren't 100%. But we'll definitely be getting you on at some point, and I'm sure Lisa will be more than happy to talk about you very soon. Hi to Tremaine and anybody else that's watching, courtesy of the links that we've been sharing. As I did say, it is a Easter weekend, so we appreciate taking time to be with us. People who don't know me will think, well, he's rambling. What's going on? Like yourself, I'm making excuses already. I haven't really prepared a lot. I'm going to leave the floor to you because we spoke about some bullet points, how we can
Yeah.
give people advice to make it work. Because the crux of the topic is,
Mm,
when Facebook began, it was an amazing
mm,
social media platform for us to
yeah.
share information, for us to meet new friends. Our
Mm,
network expanded,
mm,
and we were able to see pretty much a shop window into what everybody was doing. And then
yeah.
as the networks grew exponentially and our friends grew and grew and grew,
Mm,
there is only physically so much space that we all have on our feeds within our
Yes.
networks that we can actually see. So that is part of the issue of somebody who isn't even a DJ or a
Mm.
promoter or a
Yeah.
marketeer. If you've got 500 friends, which maybe is an average for an everyday person,
Mm.
you can't see every post from all of your 500 people, can you? And that is where
No.
it gets frustrating.
Yeah.
And the misconception, I believe, from people is the fact that when Facebook then started to monetize and offer you more reach by paying for posts and
Mm.
getting into people's field of vision,
Mm.
everybody took a step back and they took offense at that. Whereas if
Mm.
you roll back 20 years,
Mm.
25 years, promoters would think nothing of paying 10, 15, £20 to someone to stand outside their venue at the end of the night
Yeah.
handing flyers to people.
That's
So
it.
why are people so up in arms now spending, whether it's £5, £10, £50 on advertising campaigns? It confuses me why there is such animosity sometimes to Facebook, you know?
I know. Well, without Facebook, we wouldn't be here, would we? I wouldn't be able to see you. I wouldn't be able to converse with people in Australia or send messages to people when I've lost my mobile phone or broken it. So in that respect, it's it's a fantastic tool, and especially like I say in 2020, used more than ever. So I'm really thankful to Facebook, and if you use it correctly and in the right way, and you can still without having to spend, so you can still gain some traction. So like with the algorithm, so like you could totally right, Andy. So the algorithm, like way back when, and how Facebook was, it's all about community, but it still is about community. So basically, if you look at, you can still only see certain posts. So it's all about engagement. So for a Facebook hack for me really is you need to get content. You need to get more exposure. You need to get good content. So create some good content, then you'll get more engagement, on your posts. So then more people, you'll get more reach. So say for example, you've got a post, have you seen a post recently of a friend's wedding or a new baby boy or a baby girl?
Mm-hmm.
There you'll see there'll be about, I don't know, about say 100 comments, depending on how many people, 300 comments even. So Facebook's algorithm will pick up on that engagement. Okay. So it'll think, right. Because the algorithm's basically, it's a code. So it'll pick up and it'll send a message. So Facebook will then think, well, what's this content? So it'll automatically then show it to another 50 people on your Facebook. Okay. Because of the content and the engagement, the amount of comments on your post.
Okay.
So it's really important to get because gone are the old days where we say we're reaching people organically. It is about the community and about conversing and still talking to people instead of just doing the odd post and not getting nothing back from it. So what happens then, before you get to the viral stage, you'll get 50 people will look at it, chat about it. Your friends, oh, isn't the baby gorgeous? Oh, don't you look beautiful in your wedding dress? Then the algorithm will then send that to another 50 people and then to another 100 people. And they'll think, oh, hold on, what's going on here? This is really, really good, interesting content. And then it can get to the point where it goes viral. So it's really important to create good content. And what I usually think, whether it's a business page or whether it's your profile, I'll talk about the difference and what's best and what's not later. But it's always best, I think, to ask a question. So predominantly in your group, so you've got your Facebook page and you have followers, your business page, and then you'll have your own profile page, you'll have friends, and you have your community groups. And that's what Facebook loves. It loves a community still. And this is what not everyone's aware of. So the algorithm is, Mark Zuckerberg said recently, it is still very much about community. And he's focusing a lot on the community groups. So I think it's really important to get that exposure. In order to get it, is to have your Facebook page, which is just social proof as to why you're there and why you exist.
Like a shop window, so to speak.
It is, like a virtual shop window.
Okay.
And then your group, which you can have your own group. You can create subgroups as well to get more exposure, but your own group. And it's important to post within your own group because the algorithm will focus more on what you post in your group with your followers than it will on your business page, because it's designed, the algorithm, for you then later on to use ads on that page. So that's it's still all for the community. Right. So let it work for you without having to spend initially. So
well, I see where I've made my first mistake already just listening to you, because down the years I've built pages and groups, and I have a few pages. So now the Inspire and Be Inspired, that's its own page, which I created, which I've had a lot of support from for my friends and people who have followed me down the years. But I haven't actually yet created a group for this page. So that's what I'm going to do. First thing on Monday morning is create a group. And because, I put my hands up, I am not the expert on this. I know what's worked for me, but this is a brand new project. And I know where it's worked for me in the past. So that's what I'm going to do. And I'm just going to focus very quickly to my DJ friends, because a lot of my DJ friends are, they have relative success in their own areas, or they're what, we would have called back in the day a bedroom DJ, which some people kind of frown on. But I think it's a good term to explain to somebody who hasn't really stepped up to that next level. So what you need to be doing, instead of pushing content on your own profile, you need to create your own DJ page. Even if you've only got 50 people following your DJ page, those 50 people are there because they know what they're there for. And then from that page, create a group that you then push the content to predominantly. And I relate that to the Vocal Booth Weekender. It has its own page. There's, I don't know, I didn't look, 3,000, 4,000 people who follow the page. And yet if I post something on there, I'll get 6 or 7 likes, hardly any comments whatsoever, which is fine, because it's a promoting tool in itself, the Vocal Booth. But we have a really intense Vocal Booth family group page.
Yes, you do.
That the content on there flows and flows and flows. And if I need to post something, I'll post it in there. So that's what works for me. So I'm getting across to my DJ friends, relate that to yourself. Go and get yourself a page. Go and get yourself a group. Okay, Lisa. So sorry, back to you. The floor is all yours.
No, thank you. So it is. So everything you're saying there is totally right, and it is like concentrate, focus within your groups, build. When you invite people to the group, they see. You can swap between your business page and your profile on your, on your smartphone or on the PC. But when you're inviting people, they'll see you, so that they'll see your name and they'll think, oh, I know Lisa, we're friends on Facebook. So inviting them to, your page.
Has your mum still got her rollers in, by the way?
Has she just gone past?
Yeah, has she not got her rollers in?
No, she put her rollers in last night because we're going out for a meal this evening, so she has to do it the night before and then re-put her rollers in.
Amazing. I want to get her on camera later.
Well, she's called Mrs. P for Mrs. Presley, so she's a big fan. We used to have a right laugh on the quiz. We used to do a quiz in lockdown last year, and I used to get a lot of engagement on my own profile as opposed to my friends' network. She'd be a great contact for you, actually, Andy. I'll talk to you. I'll introduce her at a later date to get her on hers. But I think you'll inspire each other in many ways. But Mrs. P. That's like that incident there reminds me of that politician when the baby's
grabbing
in the
background.
Kids
well, when she comes back, just give her a punch in the kidneys. So we kind of went off on a tangent. So we'll bring this all back together, because Steve Reed, who I know is watching this with very much interest, and I will come back and say hello to everybody in a sec. He asks, can you go into more detail the difference between a page and a group? If there's anything that I wasn't specific on, because I'm not sure when he asked that question. So carry on with what you were saying.
So there's Mrs. P again in the background.
Hello, Mrs. P.
He's saying hello to you, Andy is. You can't. Can you hear her?
Yeah. Hey, Andy.
She's having a drink of water.
Oh, yeah. We've all heard that one.
Yeah, with a straw.
Okay.
Oh my Lord.
Amazing.
Oh dear me. So basically a business page is social proof that you exist, like you say, your shop window. So you have followers on your business page, as opposed to friends. And that's where your address is, where your contact number is, your call to action button, where you can redirect people to your website. You can have your links for your social media on there. And then your own page, so as in your group or your profile, it's where you invite your friends to. So it's a bit more relaxed, and you can because of the algorithm, you're not really going to get seen by posting a great deal on your business page unless you use like what I call the second Facebook hack. So like we haven't really touched on all. I've got 3 Facebook hacks, so I'll talk to you a bit about the first one. So we've sort of gone a little bit off because we've had Mrs. Presley in the background. But it's important to have your business page. By all means, you need that to show that you exist, to show that you're professional and where your business is, what your business does, your about page, your contact number, and where they can find you on other social media platforms and redirect to your website and so forth, or your call to action, whether it's to purchase a product, whether it's to promote a product, to sell, and so forth. And then you've got your group page, your community page, or like you said, like your DJ page. Your DJ page, you can get more exposure on your DJ page, for example, by adding a video. So the algorithm doesn't like links, okay? You could put a link on, it doesn't like a link, okay? So
I've only found that out recently, actually.
Yeah.
I've only recently found that out.
Yeah.
If you, and exactly just repeating what you've said, if you put a link on to an event or a website or a different up and coming video, it doesn't get anywhere near as much traction.
Do you know why?
Tell me.
Because Facebook, at the end of the day, it's a platform. They want to keep you on as long as possible, because 99% of Facebook's revenue is advertising. So if you're going off on a tangent, like I usually do quite a lot, it'll disappear to Facebook. Won't like that, and it'll just ignore you. It'll blank you, it'll custard pie you, whatever you want to call it, and it will not give you any traction, and it will not allow you others to see your post. So this is where I go back to like, so don't forget your links. Don't even bother with the links, because they need to keep you on there as long as possible. And in order to work with the algorithm, you need to engage as much as you can, right? So as much as possible, get my words out. And then so it's important, firstly, to start a conversation in your group, okay? Start a conversation on your business page.
Can I just? I'm sorry to stop you. Something either you keep banging something, or I'm getting a bit of feedback off your microphone.
Sorry, I've just crossed my leg and I banged the table.
Is that what it is? No, something's clicking. If it happens again, I'll tell you. But do carry on. So yeah.
Sorry, I'll keep still. I'm fidgeting.
Yeah, stop fidgeting about.
I should be on the dance floor somewhere. That's where it is. So basically, hack 1, if I just go back, and this will give you a bit more insight about the algorithm, okay? So you need to start a conversation. So like, when we touched, so on your Facebook page, but predominantly start a conversation on your group, because Mark Zuckerberg says the algorithm now is going to latch on to people talking about in the community, in their community pages. And set up, you can set up another page. You can link with other groups, because where they see your icon, then there's more likelihood that people will tap on your icon.
The association.
So, yes. Yeah. So as a conversation could be like, okay, what show have you watched on Netflix lately? You know, has anyone seen a show? What you can recommend? So people will automatically, doesn't have to be related to anything to do with, you know, the subject of what you're promoting. It could be a random question like someone knows the answer, because they always want to say, people always want to answer to something they know,
Yeah.
like or a show that they've watched. So you will more likely get more engagements on a question like that, like you would, like when you've put a post out about that, you know, oh, I've had a baby boy. It latches onto engagement. That will then go to 50 other people. People will then talk about that. So everyone watches Netflix. Everyone's got, I mean, I don't know who hasn't got Netflix these days. I've got every app going. But everyone knows the answer who watches Netflix. So then Facebook, the algorithm says, oh, hold on, what's going on here? You've started a conversation. Everyone's talking about it. Let's keep you on this page. Let's keep you following this page. We like this page. We like this group, you know, so carry on talking about it. Ask another question. And that way, Facebook will want to then, the more you carry on doing questions and polls and getting engagement, the more Facebook, the algorithm will like you. And then that's then will lead up in the end to sort of go on to like your ads, you know, where they'll look at you and think you've got a great following, the algorithm's liking you now. And that's when you can then sort of scale it up a bit, you know, down to sort of your ad side. So I'd say, so start a conversation, ask a question, do it in a group. And then like your second hack would be, Andy, I'd say, you know, when we talked about the links, don't put a link on there. The algorithm doesn't like it. Okay. If you want to put it on your page, put a link on your page to your website and do that. But predominantly, it won't work for you. Don't use the links at that moment in time. Okay. And then what I'd also say is hack 2 is use videos. Like, look what we're doing now. So promote the video on your group, promote it on your, not everyone likes to do it. So you've got, say, a DJ page, promote the videos on your DJ page, promote it on your community group. You might be able to set up a more regional page if you wanted to attract people with it, you know, in Valencia or, you know, or Manchester or wherever you are.
Okay, that's a good point.
Video, sorry, go on.
No, that's a good point. Regionalizing it.
Yeah, so videos, they don't like links and they love videos. So people tend to engage more with something that's not static. But it depends how people respond, because you'll have a different type of user on Facebook. I mean, I'll respond to those GIFs. They'll go, oh, the algorithm, there's Lisa again. She likes those GIFs.
We'll show us some more.
Say again.
We'll show us some more.
That's I mean, you get a lot of, sometimes it's like you can't think for yourself in a way, but it knows you uses the GIFs. And then the GIFs are there already automatically in your response, aren't they? You can tap on it on a comment. So sometimes you can look at, when you do an ad, have your GIFs on there. Some people respond better to videos, but some people won't even look at a video for more than 3 seconds. It's that there's that little window.
I think the big issue that you have though, well, I can only talk for myself.
Yeah.
And I'll be totally frank and open, which as I always am.
Yeah.
Content is king,
Yes.
without a shadow of a doubt. But the problem is, and I have commented and made this point a few times. I've had so many people say to me, Andy, you do social media really well. The way that you work it, you ask the questions, the interactions with the group. You're not daft, are you? You ask all those questions that push the buttons. There's no thought behind it. I'm just being me, and I'm being very natural, which that has generated the interest, and it has generated the community spirit, and it's how we've built up what we've built up. But if someone's then turns around, whether it the same as if you're a promoter, a producer, selling, it's like, well, you know, it all, sometimes it can feel a little bit false, a little bit fake. It's like, well, I
Yeah.
just want to focus on my product. I don't want to be asking, what did you watch at the weekend? I
Yeah.
just want to be able to make this point that I'm getting across, and reach the people who care about that. Why can't I do that? That's the
Yeah.
frustration.
You can do it, but the algorithm won't really respond to it as much. But you can do it if pay for your ads,
Hmm.
or you can use another way that the algorithm, where another way really is your Facebook ads, which that don't cost anything, which is stories on your Facebook stories.
Hmm.
So you've got a 5 second window on an image, you've got 20 seconds on a video, and about half
Something,
of
sorry, something is really going weird with the audio on your machine. I don't know what it is.
can you hear me
I
now?
can, yeah, it just clicks in every now and
Maybe if I
again.
stand back, maybe because
Mate,
it's
I don't know if you're knocking something or whatever, but I'm just, just
sorry, Andy.
stop fidgeting. Stop fidgeting. Right, carry on. I don't mean to break your train of thought. I really don't.
That's all right. No, you want it. You don't want it. You don't want. I hear you knocking, but she can't come in. Sorry, I won't start singing. You'll start losing people.
Oh, the numbers have gone. Right, tell us about stories. Come on, you were doing so well.
Come on, I was on the roll, yeah, but you wouldn't hear me knocking. So basically, Facebook ads. So you have your stories on your Facebook, which they don't cost anything to use. So there's like 500 million people are looking at Facebook stories every day. That's huge. I mean, not everyone in your Facebook, because obviously you only got a certain amount of people, but you've got like a 5 second window with an image, a 20 second image, window with a video. So, and there's various options you can use on there, and there's certain ways that there's like types of ways. There's a type of person that looks at a story. So
Hmm.
there's you've got your images, your videos, you've got your gifs. Some people respond, like I said, better to the gifs on a story. I know what you're saying about content, but this is just another way round to get more traction with what you're already doing within your group. So the stories, people respond better to a video. And Facebook knows this because of the way you respond.
Hmm.
I mean, it's very. This is the easiest way I can sort of explain it without rambling on too much about the technical side of it. Not that I'm not a software programmer by any means, but so if you look at there's certain customers you can target, so you can have one ad on your story. No, you can have the same ad, so you're not reinventing the wheel. And one can be gift or GIF orientated. One could be a video with great content. One could be an image. Then you can have your swipe up option on there, but it's really important that when you have on your video your swipe up option, that appears at the beginning of your video, because you've got 20 seconds and
Okay.
then it won't give them enough time. So that swipe up option, because Facebook is linked with Instagram, you can swipe up and then that can then take you to Instagram. And because Facebook and Instagram are the same company, it doesn't mind you. In effect, that's a link,
Hmm.
but it's connected with Facebook. But before you can do that, you need to have your Instagram page set up,
Hmm.
where they give you that you've got you've got your own profile page, or you can have a business page linked to that. And on Instagram, you have your followers, a little bit about yourself and brief. It's limited in text really. Instagram, it's a lot more about image orientated and videos, but your content, like your website, you have little windows called collections, so you can link it to a particular collection, and you can do a whole story on Facebook linking to your Instagram page, where people can purchase off there, because from the Instagram page it can link to your website. So it's all happy days and you haven't had to spend a penny. So that's
Right.
another way of getting traffic. And
Hmm.
that's another way the algorithm and Facebook at the moment, I mean, you're not spending for your stories, are you? So that's another way that you can, if you're starting out, before you're even spending any money. So that's another great way, I think, really. Do you use Instagram as much, or?
I use Instagram because I'm in a fortunate position that
Yeah,
I've created a life for myself away from the music, so to speak. I have a very strong network that I've built that's
yeah,
based on emails on a monthly basis to communicate with the
mm,
people that I need to reach out to, and I have enough work to keep me going on the website kind of thing. I don't market myself a great deal, so the reason why I don't use Instagram a lot is because it says in
yeah,
my bio, these are
yeah,
just personal photos. No one
yeah,
cares about except me. That's all. I'll add the odd photo here and there on my Instagram. I'm not trying to push or sell anything on there.
yeah,
The Vocal Booth Weekender has an Instagram that I haven't updated in a long time because, I don't really need to so much.
no,
But I understand the power of it. And you mentioned about the stories.
yeah,
Me personally, I don't look at people's stories. My son and my daughter are using stories a hell of a lot. And I used to say
yes.
to them, but you're loading all this content and then it disappears. Well, how are you going to be able to access it? Because I use Instagram and Facebook as a diary for myself, knowing that the
Yes.
content is there. Whereas on your
Yeah.
stories, it disappears, doesn't it, after 24 hours or
Yeah,
something?
it's a 24-hour window.
So
But
I'm not a big fan of stories personally,
yeah,
but because they don't necessarily work for me, and I don't see
yeah.
other people's stories. But I've heard so many people in the last few weeks since I've started doing this,
Mm.
singing the praises, shouting from the rooftops about stories are the way to go forward.
Stories on Facebook or Instagram, there's like 63% conversion rate from using stories.
Brilliant. Well,
So
we
it's,
had a question from Jackie who was
yes, Jackie.
asking. She was saying, "How do you link your personal page to your business page?" Well, they're automatically linked unless I'm mistaken, because you have to create the page through your personal profile, don't you?
Yes, and yeah, the page, and then you link that to. Did you say link it to your personal
Yeah.
page?
Jackie's question was, "How do you link your personal page to your business page?"
So you set your business page up, and you can basically alternate between the two, so they are connected. And
Hmm.
then you can also do your events on your personal page. You can do your events on your business page. You can have topics on your page. So the two are both connected. So what's Jackie's business? What's she in?
Jackie's she's now doing personal coaching,
Oh,
um,
fantastic.
and a few other things. You put me on the spot now. I should be able to reel off exactly what she does because I built the website for her.
Oh, did you?
But it's Jackie Hygia Life. It's called,
Yeah,
and I think it's been around about 12 months, actually a little bit longer than that, probably the worst time in the world that she could have begun this, but I know she's been getting a lot of traction. But
yeah,
Jackie, if she doesn't mind me saying, I think is
yeah,
very much like a lot of other people who
yeah.
very intelligent, clever people, but they get
Mm,
stuck so far when they get to certain aspects of marketing and social
yeah.
media. And there's the frustrating thing is, and I
Mm,
can only talk for myself, is that there is no handbook that you can follow to make it work to the letter, because if you did, everybody would be doing it.
yeah,
The important thing, and Colin Williams did, another friend of mine did leave a comment earlier, is saying that
yeah,
you can go through all of these hacks, all of these
yeah.
processes, but the
Mm,
important thing is the focus has got to be on the end product being in line with what people want to either see, use, or buy. You know that's the key thing. You've got to hit people on the head, haven't they?
yeah, you've got to. I mean, the same with like your sort of your Google ads when you go into Google. I mean, that's another way. It's all depending again on your budget, but I always think Facebook's start with a Facebook account first, and like I said, work the algorithm so I can work with you without having that spend.
Hmm.
Look to do Google ads, and the Google ads, it's what people could be searching for at that time. So like you say, somebody could be searching for coaching, and then Jackie's, it's important for her to, I'd invest in Google Ads, because when they're searching, she'll come up high on the. Bearing in mind, if her website has been optimized and it's it's sort of been live for 3 months, there's a more likelihood that she's going to rank higher.
Mm-hmm.
But there are companies out there that can rank you higher and do that. So is that are you doing that at the minute, Andy?
Yeah, but the thing with the thing with the websites is, and again, what is frustrating, and
Yeah,
I'm going to use Jackie as an example. I'm sure she won't
yeah,
mind being in the spotlight.
mm,
You can build a website with it can look the part and it can have all the
mm,
content on. And I'll say to people, right,
mm,
blogging, it's really important because you've got to get your content onto your website
yeah,
at least on a weekly basis at the beginning. Add new blogs, talk about your services,
yeah,
talk about what you've done, talk about experiences, talk about other things that you can do, because there's so many layers to different
mm,
levels of businesses.
yeah,
And people say, yeah, right, okay. And then I'll look back at a website, and Jackie, I'm
mm,
not pulling at you, it's just an example. 12 months later, and there's been one blog post in 12 months, and it's like, well, if the content isn't there, how are you expecting to get up in the search engine? Because
yeah.
you have to have the content on your website enough times for it to then get picked out by Google.
Yeah,
And
especially for coaching.
it's like a vicious circle. If you haven't
Yeah,
got the content, you don't get the traffic, and if you don't get the traffic, you don't get the visitors, and if you don't
yeah,
get the visitors, you don't get the click for it's. I mean,
yes,
I
yeah,
personally don't focus a great deal on that side of it, because that's
mm.
an extra level to the designing of
Yeah.
a
I mean, it is.
website.
You're right, Andy. You're so right. It is all about the content, and especially in coaching. I mean, I've been following a lot. Everything now, I keep getting coaching on all social media channels because I signed up for Tony Robbins
Hmm.
coaching, and I did New World, New You, and I learned quite a lot on there. To be fair, which about social media and how they've worked things. It was fantastic. Hundreds of thousands of people all over the world engaging, but that's because Tony and his team, they post regularly,
Hmm.
they blog regularly. On YouTube is great for coaching, you know, and I click on the bell on YouTube and I'll follow that coach. I'll get notifications when they've added a new piece of material. It's important to subscribe because you've got the same, Andy, isn't it? If
Hmm.
you click on to subscribe, people get the notifications. So from a coaching perspective, it's essential to blog, keep your content, keep it good, keep it interesting. And, if you're adding value to someone, you're adding value to their lives, they'll stay with you,
Hmm.
and then they'll look to see what's coming next. So you're right, it is totally about content. And then
I think we're
once,
veering off now though into a whole different
oh
business,
yeah, I
a
know
whole
social
different
media and the web
a
is,
business model is a totally separate thing to getting around
yes,
this Facebook thing,
yeah,
but yeah,
yeah, I know. I could
and
talk for hours about it. And it is me thinking I wouldn't have enough to say.
we can focus on that, and it's something again, Karen Griffith
Yeah,
started out her own coaching. She has some workshops that she's got coming up that I've seen her pushing on Facebook, and I say to her, Karen,
yeah,
pushing from her profile, say, Karen,
mm,
have you got a page for this? Have you got a group? Because you might have 500 people on your wall who are your
mm,
friends, but then when you start something else, there it's like,
mm,
well, I'm not really okay, Karen, you're my friend off the dance floor, I'm not really interested in you, what coaching you're going to do. So then if you create your own page or your own group, you know that those people, if there's 20, 50,
yeah,
100 people on there, you can focus on those and dedicate your
mm,
time to those, and
mm,
you will get the reward of that
yeah,
one-on-one interaction. That
yeah,
that comes back to what we were starting about before. So
yes.
let, we're under no time constraints, so we can rub it on, but let's try and keep it concise. What other
Okay.
hacks can you tell us that people can look out for and try?
I think basically, like we said about videos, using videos, that's really important. And images again is how people respond to. Also adding a hashtag so that like it will be like you said, you're friends with someone on the dance floor, but then they might not be interested in I don't know, nutrition or something like that. So when you've got a post which is say predominantly say about nutrition and you add great content about what it can do for your body, what sports people or what athletes are using it, the average Joe is. And then you can add on your page a hashtag.
Mm-hmm.
So anyone that's, say for example, there's a marathon coming up, or you can hashtag marathon, hashtag nutrition. So anybody that has done that, that'll actually gain more reach as well. So hashtag your community page, hashtag your business page. So that'll get more exposure as well. So that's another way.
I used to sometimes I used to think that I was stating things that were really painfully obvious, especially when you're in the business and you're in
Yeah,
the
yeah.
industry. But then sometimes it's actually very surprising
Mm,
how few people realize that a hashtag, you can click a hashtag and it will
yeah,
bring you all the posts up regarding that.
exactly.
I
Yeah,
mean, I've known that for
yeah,
quite a few years now, but
yeah,
it was a few years after the event that I actually became aware of it. So because it
yeah,
was a very much a cool, it turned into like a dialect thing.
yeah.
Oh,
Hashtag
hashtag
happy.
embarrassed, hashtag wow jow. But then you understood that the hashtag actually it's a functioning monster,
It is,
you
yeah,
know.
it is, and you just think how many people are searching for like nutrition, and like for say a Mother's Day campaign, a Mother's Day 2021 came up quite big. Mother's Day gifts. There was about 30 million users, 30 million posts with Mother's Day gift. So if you've got a very, you're a new business, or you're not getting any, if you're not hashtagging,
Mm-hmm.
you're not going to get any exposure there either. So that it's not just for show or
Yeah,
trying to be cool. It does serve a purpose. And you can
brilliant.
also go on Google and type in the subject and then put hashtags, and they can give you a list of hashtags that are performing the best.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. So
Yeah.
just explain that again. You can go onto Google.
You can go onto Google and say, I don't know, say Mother's Day, for example, or festival hashtags, best festival hashtags to use, and they give you what is working the best. Some companies could be
What's trending?
what's trending. Yes, that's a trendy word. That's hashtag trending.
Brilliant.
So yeah, some people companies will just have hashtag content, and then that could then so they are there, and it'll tell you what's performing, how many millions, how many hundreds thousands of posts there are. So they're really useful tools as well, or a hack, as
Brilliant.
well,
Okay.
to get more exposure. But
Wonderful.
I'm still, yeah.
I'm just going to again say hi to. We got a few people with us watching.
Oh,
A few
great.
comments, quite a few shares as well. That's an
Uh,
important thing as well. The engagement. When
yes.
and I have said it quite a bit in recent times, especially from the music point of view. If your favorite or just your really good friends are sharing posts
Yeah.
or they're live whatever, the more that you can share that, the more that you can actually comment on it. And also as well, if somebody comments on your own content, this is all stuff that
Yeah.
I've just learnt myself.
Yeah.
If somebody comments on your own content, instead of just clicking like back to
Yeah.
them, engage with them,
Yeah.
and engage in conversation, not false conversation, but instead of
No.
just clicking a like, go in like I will after this, and I will go
Mm.
and I will reply to Suf, I will
Yeah.
reply to Karen, I will reply to Steve,
Yeah.
answering them because we're a little bit preoccupied now.
Yeah.
And then if you create that conversation, that still goes to enhance the engagement, and
And
it helps with
Facebook
the
will know
like,
that as well.
and
They'll
Facebook
look
will
at
pick
that.
up on that.
Yeah.
Also, something else that I read, I did do a little bit of research, is if you pick up on, if you focus on some of the people that you look up to, people who
Mm.
are leaders in your field, if you
Yeah.
communicate with those people as well, comment on their
Yeah.
posts, on their pages, and get into dialogue with those, that also helps. Somebody might click on, if you say something witty or clever, somebody might
Yes.
click through to your page and your and your profile, and then you gain yourself another follower because
So
it's
you jumping on people's comments then?
indeed. Well, yes.
I did that with you, Andy, on your
Piggyback.
vocal booth. I did that with you when I was promoting a festival called Hatchfest. I said, why don't we have the vocal booth after party when you all fly back? Come to Cheshire. And I don't even think you realised it clicked it was me, but trying to get like...
Did you reply after when we did vocal booth last year? Were you the one who commented and said to people, "Come on, guys, everybody, go over and subscribe to Andy on YouTube"? Was that you?
I don't know if it was. No, I don't think that was me.
Oh, well, somebody did. They were being very, very polite, saying, "Come on, yeah, Andy needs to get the subscribers up because of the click through on the ads."
No, it was a couple of years ago.
Oh, right, okay. Well, piss off then.
Yeah.
Piss off with your Hatchfest.
Yeah, well, that was what was hilarious. We were talking about, there was a song, so content that's emotive and takes you back as well, like music does that. And like what you're doing now, if you're inspiring people and you're helping them out, like that's what's great about coaching and what you're doing, these talks, and you're helping people, you're adding value to people, you're giving something back. So, and like music that's emotive, or like it'll take you, to a time and place. And when I was commenting, it was actually a lady that had passed away, and there was I'm not sure if it was Frank Ainsworth or Dave Law was doing. They were on the decks, and the lady that was in the shot had passed away.
Okay.
And I can't remember what it was, but it was emotive, and it was related to cancer, and that's what the festival was about at the time. So it wasn't an insincere comment, because it can look like you're jumping on people's feed and go, hold on, everyone's talking on it and you're getting, yourself on. But it wasn't. It was something that had, you could, affiliate with it, as in, you empathize with it because,
it touched a nerve. It touched a nerve, and so you wanted to get involved.
Yeah, but it was a sincere nerve, because I wanted people to be able to enjoy the music, and everyone who knew that lady, and you could celebrate raising funds for the Christie and East Cheshire Hospice. So but people can look at it another way, going, "Oh, what you doing on my feed?" But it's like. Yeah, well, I don't mind if people do that. If it's someone to help someone,
you can't worry too much about the way that things are going to perceive the intention.
Yeah.
So right, I'm getting a lot of priceless information here. I know the people who are watching this with us live, and a lot of people watching back. We did say in a conversation that we were having earlier in the week that if people are watching back and they do want to comment on the video, if they can, what was it you said to comment?
Hashtag replay.
Okay.
So you can gauge then to see how many afterwards, people have shared. You can look to see what you got, who are watching live, and say, because we've only had a short window really anything like a live event, usually we can prepare a little bit more in advance, but I think we only had about 10 days, was it?
Something like that. Well, that is really more down to my my desires to not feel too prepared, not to make things too.
Yeah, I know what you
because
mean.
Then it feels insincere. Then I like just having this conversation, see what it pops up. People asking the questions, because it could be very stuffy. You sat there with it, so it turns into a bit of a seminar. I don't really.
I know. I've got
like
30 pages of notes here. Look,
and we've got through about one of them.
I know. Oh yeah, I look at my notes and think, what was that?
Well, the important thing though is to remember that all of these things, all of this information that we're giving, even though, and I did make a joke about it, the fact that what is the Facebook algorithm and how to make it work for you, that grabs people's attention, but we can't get all that information across in an hour, 90 minutes.
No, you can't.
2 hours.
Just so.
And this will bring me back to yourself.
Yeah.
You offer a service. People can pay you to do these things.
Yes.
What is it that you can take money from people to do?
Say again. What is it I can what? Sorry.
What is it that you can take money off people to give them? What are you selling? Sell yourself.
Basically social media. I love engaging with people. And in the past, I have had some success stories with various clients, and where they've had more exposure, more people we've turned likes into clicks to their purchases, creating more brand awareness. We've run experiential marketing campaigns for them. That's another side. That's another experience that I've got. My field is pretty broad, really. I can not only help them with all the social media element of things, I can give them the tools to what works, what doesn't work with their brand. I've also studied pricing strategy and analytics.
That's very, very important, because how
Yeah,
in this day and age, if someone
yeah,
is pulling a face and not prepared to spend 10
yeah,
10, and another topic
yeah.
entirely is how much money you spend on adverts. We won't get into that now, but I
No,
do know that people are reluctant to spend
I
15,
know.
20, 25 pounds on something. So how do you then try and get across to somebody that they need to spend 3, 4, 5, 600 pound a month if they're really gonna get any
Yeah.
return on that? It's very
Well,
difficult.
I know what you mean. But it's
Mum, sit down.
again.
You're confusing me, Mum. Sit down.
she's she's what you doing, mother?
She's going to get some of that nice tasting water.
That's the bedroom just there. So she's prepping for this evening for dinner because we're going
Oh,
out. It's the first time we've been out in ages,
oh, bless her.
like for a meal in the evening, because we've been on lockdown till 6. Well, the restaurants and bars were open till 6 p.m., but now they're open till 10:30. And now I'm like, we have a curfew. We've got to be in by 11 p.m. So I'm hiding behind the bins from the police, so they don't tell me off.
Well, I will ask you all about your evening tomorrow. So let's get
Yeah,
back
right.
to
Let's get back to it.
about the pricing.
It's because Mrs. P
She's sending me a little bit crazy.
sorry.
Right, yeah. So there's the pricing is very important on how people what they should be. People can underprice themselves, they can overprice
Yes.
themselves. You can offer all that kind of
Yeah.
guidance. How can people get in touch with you if this is something that they want to explore further?
They can get in touch with me on Facebook under Lisa Hewitt. To be honest, I actually get more business from my own profile page as a do a business
You're
page.
very much like me. You don't practice what you preach.
No, I don't.
My ward's website's group and page
Yeah,
isn't very active because I'm very busy, fortunately.
yeah,
But so you're very much like me. You can bring your own work in. But what
yeah,
we'll do is
yeah.
I will go back and tag you in the description of this,
Thank you, Andy. Thank you.
I'll tag you again in the bottom. So I'm sure there'll be one or two people who will want to talk to you. I mean,
Yeah,
we're not finished yet, but I'm just
no,
recapping. I'm sure you have got a wealth of information that you can share with people,
yeah.
and the expertise. So anything else that we haven't discussed regarding Facebook and how people can get around these things and
I mean, that's literally. I mean, like you say, we could be here for hours unless there's something that you think I may have missed, and you can enlighten us.
Not really.
No,
I understand from my experiences of
yeah,
working with people, whether it's building their websites for them. I've said
yeah,
on many occasions I can help people get the exposure that they need. I can provide them
yes,
with the information. I can
yeah,
provide them with the tools, but they have to put the work in themselves. And
yes,
I understand how difficult it is for
mm,
people to be consistent. I
yeah,
understand how frustrating it can be.
yeah,
Coming back to this inspire and be inspired,
yeah,
the massive thing that I've gleaned from this conversation is the fact that I need to create a group for it, because
definitely,
I'm very aware, because of the network of people that I've built up over the last 10, 15 years,
yeah,
whether it's as a personal, my own DJ, whether it's as a producer, or whether it's a promoter with my event. The event is the thing that's kind of taken over my life, but I'm
yeah,
also very much aware of not trying to force that not force this, what I'm doing now,
yeah,
down the throats of the people. As you're fully aware, I call the vocal booth family.
Yeah.
it's very, I won't push a lot of things in there. A few weeks ago we had a talk on grief, and I know a hell of a lot of people have
Yeah.
lost loved ones, so I
Yeah.
was focusing that a lot in that group. But then you have to pick your battles. You have to know what you're pushing where and who's interested, and never take it personally.
No.
This will come up a lot of times in my in
Yeah.
my
I
in
mean,
my
grief.
discussions.
Grief. We all relate to that, Andy. That's everyone, isn't it? That's life. We've all been through it. So, but people buy people. So I always think I never really sell a product first. If I wanted to buy a car and I bought them off a salesman, I wouldn't buy a car off a salesperson I didn't like. So people buy people, and if you engage and you create a friendship and create a community, a community, that's what's really important, and that's what works really, really well. So, and I know what you're saying about going off, and it's like equals trust, isn't it? If you like someone, you trust them, and then you build on like builds your relationships. So it's not necessarily I know what you're saying. Like, you can get some like multi-level marketing companies, and they're trying to sell something to you. But then I prefer to go with them. I'm all happy to hear what someone's willing to try and help them. Do you know what I mean? So I think, it's a dog eat dog world. I think, to help each other out more and just be kinder and listen to what people have got to say, because we've all been there, haven't we? Starting out, and, I think it's really important. It's not just about the product, like you say. That's people are listening to you, and there's people with that because they know, because what a great job you did with the vocal booth. Like your networks, you've got a huge network. My network isn't necessarily social media. It's network because of my events over the years and people I've met along the way, and we're still friends to this day. So, and people, if you ask them, or they come to you and you ask them to do a favor, it's pay it forward, I believe. Do you know what I mean?
I definitely agree with that.
Yeah.
I do definitely agree with that. And
Yeah.
one of the reasons why I'm doing this conversation is there are so many different aspects, whether it's in life or business or whatever, and a lot of the same stuff will always come up. Is the fact that as long as you're authentic, as long as what you're doing is from the heart, you will reach the right people, and it's more about quality over quantity, because the conversion, if you're really relating to people, for example, again, I can only ever relate this back to my own experiences. With the vocal booth, I don't have a massive database of people that I send newsletters out to on a monthly basis, but the newsletters that I do send out to, I get 80% clicks on it, and that's unheard of.
That's fantastic.
It's like nobody reads that, and yet at the same breath, I also have people who I will spend 2 weeks drafting a really thought out letter, newsletter, all the information on the website. I'll send it out, and then someone will send me a message saying, "Oh, what's this all about then?" And I say, "Well, I've just spent 2 weeks putting a newsletter together. It's there in your inbox. I know you've read it because you commented on it, and you're still asking me what it's about." "Oh, I was too busy to bother reading it." And he's just like, "What?"
No, I know.
You can't do anything.
This is why
about
those
that.
5-second stories work on Facebook.
The problem I've got with the stories, and this is my issue, I related the stories back to people who I saw when they first came out, and I saw them as people being just like media hungry people, thirsty for attention, because
like me,
it was just vacuous people talking nonsense, not like yourself, and so I just thought, because I would love to. This morning, walking back from the gym, it was a beautiful day. I thought, I'll pull my phone out and start talking to people when I'm walking home. No, but I thought, well, what's the point? I haven't got anything really to say.
Well, you make someone smile. Do you know what I mean? I did it the other day. I was talking to I had a goat festival the other day.
A what?
A goat festival. We weren't allowed any music. There's some great melodic tunes going on up that hill of Cabrera. All the goats, and I started talking, and then there's coming live as the goat herder. We're coming live. Goat herder 21 is about to do his set, and then this little goat was about to jump off a cliff. Said, "You always get one you're waiting for, don't you?"
Jeez. Well,
I'll probably be better doing that as a job.
and that would probably get you the most likes and the most views out of all of you think. So stories is the way forward.
I personally, I'm pretty fond of the stories, and if it makes someone smile or you made the day, then I think you're halfway there, to be honest.
I think a lot of this does come back to again. I always keep saying this. This is only my own personal opinion.
Yes.
This does come back to perceptions, how we
Yeah.
perceive people
Yeah.
perceive us, how we perceive other people. We
Yes.
sometimes we can be judgmental. I can be
Yes.
judgmental. I can project how I think somebody is coming across, and that isn't always necessarily the way.
Yeah.
And especially with the lockdown, there's a lot of
Mm.
personal mental health battles that many of us are
Yes.
going through. And so to put yourself in the public eye like that and be ready for negative feedback
Yeah.
can be very dangerous for some people. They're not all as strong as you and I.
I know exactly what you're saying in terms of that. It's our belief, our perception about someone, and you can read a post the wrong way. So text has no meaning, does it? So this is why what you're doing is great. It has more meaning, so people can't be misconstrued. But I think, yeah, we can take things the wrong way, and I don't always go and speak to the goats.
Come on now. Come on now, you've opened up a you've
Maybe
opened
because no human wants to listen to me.
you've opened up a can of worms now.
I know.
So I can just see that Nazia and Colin have both commented saying they
Yeah,
agree on different things that we've been saying. Colin Williams is also someone who he's a very very talented person with a world of knowledge. Not someone who would probably relish being in front of the camera, but he's someone I'm going to be talking to at some point. A lot of
what's he
stories to
do?
tell. He also does coaching amongst many other things. I'm sure he
Fantastic.
could. I'm sure he could explain it a lot better than I could. But people by
What a great
people,
job to be in.
people
Great
by
business to be
people,
in.
and Colin is one of those kind of gentlemen that you would go a
If you want
long
to
way.
serve people, that's what coaching is, and that's what you're doing. You're serving people. You're giving people something.
I couldn't coach anybody because it's
But you,
it's
you
not
are. You're
it's not
coaching
a
me to be
well I
quiet.
don't well I'm trying. I'm not doing very well. It's a running joke that people my temper and my patience is very very that there's not a they don't go hand in hand, my patience and my temper.
You're doing a good job with me.
No, it's all right. After I've known you for about 3 weeks, I will start swearing at you. That's generally the
That's
way.
fine.
That's
That's
generally
fine.
the way that it happens. But
Yeah.
it's all from a point of love and genuine care,
Yeah.
and so I get away with a hell of a lot. I was just doing a test with
Mm.
some people. I'm doing a quiz with a little bit later on that I've
Yeah.
been coordinating. They were getting it all wrong, and I was like effing and blinding at them. Get it right, come on! But it's only because I love them so much.
Yeah, but it's like you say, is your business and your personal persona. But then again, it's like you are one, aren't you? So obviously, there's times and places where you can say certain things,
Hmm.
but still being authentic, isn't it? So, but going back to like the swearing thing, coaching, it's interrupt and disrupt. So certain coaches use swearing when they project and when they're talking to people to actually make you focus more on what they're about to say. So
Right.
it's to interrupt and disrupt. There you go. Something else you've learned.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd want to go down the coaching route. I'd
Yeah,
like learning, and I'll be getting a hell of a lot of different walks of life, different coaches, and more
yeah.
people to talk about these things. But I think we're venturing off now into just
I know.
sitting here rabbiting, and
I know.
you've got a night to prepare for. Mrs.
I
P's
know.
got to
You've
go and
got
get
Bertie,
herself
haven't
ready.
you?
I've got a quiz to do in a little while, but that's all good.
What's everyone else saying? What's another lady you mentioned? Any
So,
other
so
questions?
we have Angel, who's an incredible artist, who's looking at ways to push herself, get more exposure. But the thing with Angel is she doesn't really
Yeah.
need to worry about that because
Mm.
her art is it's like so unique and so
Yeah.
incredible that she's going to do fantastic anyway. She struggles with the I believe that having to be out there and speak on
Yeah.
Facebook, talking for talking's sake.
Yeah.
And there's a hell of a lot of people who don't like to do that because they feel that
Yeah.
they're, like you said at the very beginning, oh, I'm blowing my own trumpet here.
Mm.
You can't, if you're not going to blow your own trumpet, how can you
Really well
expect other
said.
people to as well? You know,
Yeah.
it's really very difficult, and that is the fine line that I
Yeah.
see many of my very talented friends struggling
Mm.
with. DJs who are incredibly talented DJs who
Mm.
haven't really got to the level that they believe they should attain,
Yeah.
and yet without putting in the hard work, how do
Mm.
they expect to stand apart from everybody
Yeah.
else that's doing the same thing?
Yeah.
But these are all topics that will come up week after week that I enjoy, and it won't be the last time we get you on. Before I forget, actually, we did
Yes.
mention Caroline at the very beginning.
Yes. Is she still
Caroline,
on?
I'm not too sure.
Hi,
She probably
Caroline.
fell asleep us two talking. She runs a very successful magazine. Tell us
She
very
does.
quickly about that, and the next time you come on, you can give us all the celebrity gossip as well, can't you?
Ah, yeah, there's a fair bit, but it's a bit like patient confidentiality, isn't it?
I'll tell you, you can tell me
uh,
when you come off air. Yeah, tell us about
well,
Revive.
yeah, so you've got Revive magazine, you've got Northern Revive. So Revive is a lifestyle magazine, culture, features music, celebrity chit chat, fashion. So it's pretty, it's got some great content in there, and it's Cheshire, predominantly Cheshire based, but she does get a lot of people advertising and people in the magazine from other areas. So Revives, I met Caroline when she started off Northern Revive, and it was everything about us Northerners up north, and it was like a little A5, not catalogue, A5 magazine, predominantly about culture, northern culture, music, the cities, Manchester, Newcastle, Liverpool, everything that there is, where the gigs are, what's on guides, what festivals. So it's very music orientated. And that's one of the things that's caught my eye, because anything to do with music, you've got me. Anything to do and culture, you can bring the two together. And we've got some great cities up north. Do we say Birmingham? No, it's Birmingham classed as South. You're in the middle there, aren't we?
Birmingham's in the middle, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But so Northern Revive is very much on the focus on sort of like, it's still cultural, but all things northern culturally. And then Revive, it's such a fantastic magazine. She's worked so hard, so she's got the digital copies, which can be seen in very nice hotels. Depends what your class. You've got really nice glossy magazine. But it's comparable with what I would say Vogue, but it's also down to earth in who they speak to. So it's not stuffy. It's real. It's got real people in there. It's
Well, if I get the both of you on at some
yeah,
point in the future, am I going to get a
yeah.
word in?
Well, you said not. I'd have to blow my own trumpet, so I am doing. I've relaxed a bit now, haven't I? That's why I've gone off on a tangent.
It's fine. It's fine. I wouldn't want it any other way. Um, I do think we've covered everything that I intended to cover today.
Okay.
Um,
My
and
note says otherwise.
yeah, well, tell me if there's anything that you've
No, I'm joking. I'm
any
joking. It's
anything that we've missed. I'm
fine.
conscious of keeping your mum from getting the rollers in for tonight. You see, that's the problem.
Don't worry about my mother. I've got to wash my hair and put my rollers in yet.
Yeah, and I have as well. Okay,
And I've
Lisa.
got to go training up to the hills and talk to the goats.
So
Yeah.
let's come back to the question. If you remember, I
Yeah.
said what is more important to you on Facebook, and it's
Mm.
actually very close. We had 56% of people saying seeing posts from my closest friends, and
Yeah.
44% of the people saying promoting myself, my services, or my business.
That's
So
pretty
the
close.
takeaway from all of this, in case
Yeah.
you've only just come in, I recommend you go back and watch the recording.
Yeah.
The takeaway of it is, if you're promoting anything at all on Facebook, your page is your shop window with
Yeah.
your basic static information on that you update few and far between, but you post the links and everything there, but that isn't where all the interaction is.
But it's still important to put videos on there as well.
Okay.
Yeah, it's still important
So
to
it is
have
important,
video
but
content on there.
that isn't where you're going to get most of the traction and the traffic.
No, not naturally with the way the algorithm is.
Okay, so most of the traffic and the traffic and the engagement is the word is via your group
and your own, and you can, if you're happy with your personal profile as well.
Yeah. So what I always do, and this is what I commented to Karen the other day, I would post on my page. So let's say, for example, Ward's website. I'll post an offer on Ward's websites.
Yeah.
Understanding that I'm going to get 7 or 8 likes on there.
Yeah.
Then I will copy that over onto my own personal profile and share that. So that, and that's where I then get a lot more communication and a lot more engagement, and then just by spending every now and again, if I feel like I've got a bit of spare time on my hands, I'll spend a little bit of money on when I say a little bit of money, I'm talking about 10 or 15 quid with a targeted advert.
Yes.
And I'll usually get, believe it or not, 2 or 3 website builds out of that'll keep me going for a little while.
Well, that's clearly working, isn't it?
So that works for me.
Don't need a huge ad spend. Depends on what like you say, what your budget is, where you want to go.
We didn't even touch on any of that. So I am going to get you to come back on another time, and we'll prepare all of these notes, and we won't cover any of them next time as well. Does that sound like a good thing?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, there's a lot. But is it? No, but it is so important. I mean, considering we say, well, I've never said I'm camera shy, but I think nerves are natural. But it's important to have the engagement and your comments, and like you're engaging with, Facebook are going to like that because you are keeping the viewers on Facebook, on their platform. Mm-hmm. So people shouldn't like begrudge paying an advert, like you would pay an advert. Don't begrudge paying an advert. You're building your business, investing in yourself, investing in your product, but the engagement predominantly, get talking, ask people questions, whether it's about your product, whether it's, who's your favourite band from Manchester, or who's your favourite band from the North. That's going to get people talking. So, it's... which festival's the best? Vocal booth, of course.
Point of contention there, but we're going off. Right, I'm going to bring this to a close because I'm going to put your link. I'm going to tag yourself in there. I really recommend that people do head on over and talk to you, because I know you've got a lot more answers than we got to this afternoon.
I know.
Thank you. We both did. Thank you for giving me your time.
Thank you, Andy, for having me on.
And we will definitely do it again.
Yeah. Thank you. And without me commenting on your post when you were speaking to Lenny Fontana and Night of Being,
right,
I would never be here. So without me engaging on your post, we wouldn't be here now.
There you go. You see, it's all about engagement. I'm gonna go and engage with these people a little bit more. I'll bid you farewell, and then I'll drop you a little message later.
Before you go, how can I find your quiz on your page?
If you go onto my page, it's I've got a separate page. It's called Buzzin, Buzzin. But if you go into my profile, I will share a link there. And what I'm going to be doing in a couple of hours is I've got a young lady with her 2 children going head to head with a couple from the vocal booth, a general knowledge quiz.
Wicked.
And I'm going to have a glass of wine. We're all going to have some fun. It's going to be very, very messy.
So, see, exactly, stuff like that. That's what people need.
Yeah. That's going to be really good. So head on over. That kicks off at 6 o'clock. 7 o'clock our time, because we didn't even say that you're in Spain, did we?
I know. I'm in lockdown.
Another conversation for another time.
I know. Lisa, thanks, Andy.
Thank you so much. And like I say, I'll bid you farewell now. I'm going to come back and talk to some people, and we'll speak to you in a bit. Okay, my love. Thank you very much.
If anyone got any questions, they can Facebook message me. And then I can give them my email and that. So if any questions, feel free.
Brilliant.
I don't sleep.
Thank you.
Take care, Anu.
Cheers.
Bye. Bye, everyone. Bye.
Right, there we go. I have finished that, Lisa. Now she's going to go off and tell her mum to go and get her rollers in. Oh, you can't even see me now. What's going on? Oh, what's happening? Hello, I'm here. What's going on? Oh, you know what I got to do? I got to just move this camera a little bit. I don't know why that's moved. It was all working fine before. Hello. Yeah, so that was an interesting conversation. So much to try and talk about in a short space of time with so many different avenues that you can explore. And as I come to the end of this, I'm drawn to the new window in front of me, and it says, did you enjoy that? If you felt value in anything you have seen today and would like to help the project grow, find a link to support in the video and page description. Now, I'm going to draw reference to that because inspire and be inspired is exactly what I've been over the last few weeks. A mixture of having a little bit of time on my hands, also by watching other streamers do their thing. If you've seen me present these videos, then you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. So much so that I've now set up a subscription program within the Vocal Booth family. Most people will be aware of that. I sent out the newsletter on the 1st of April when the tickets went on sale. It's called Access, and people are paying £10 a month, and that £10 a month is going towards a prize draw at the end of the month where the winner will get £150 in their pockets, guaranteed, and a whole heap of other things. So that has all blossomed from this screen at the end of me saying to people, if you like that, there's a link where you can help to support me. If you're a member of Access, then you don't need to do that anymore, because the money that you're putting in already goes to help things like this grow. It's also going to go towards a few other things that I'll be talking about on the radio show tomorrow. I'm going to end this now. As I scroll down here, there's a hell of a lot of people who have been sharing and liking the video, a few people who have been following the page, so thank you very much. You can see on the left hand side Damien, Paul, Steve, Amy, Katie, Amanda, Colette. Oh, hi Colette, I didn't see you there earlier. You have to forgive me. I hope you're still around. Also to DJ Raw, who's been commenting and sharing pretty much everything I've done over the last few weeks. To Nazia and to Jackie as well. If any of you've got any questions that you want to drop me a message, I'll answer it when I can get around to it. And there are a lot of other things that I've got coming up. Most importantly, before I forget, here, this picture, this is all very tongue-in-cheek. Pussy Power, discussing women in house music and much more. That's going to be on Monday. So this coming Monday, Easter Monday, I'm going to be talking to Paris Savette and Sarah Day, two women who are incredibly inspiring in their own right, who are going to be discussing amongst a few other things, cats. So that's where that tongue-in-cheek title came from. I didn't come up with it, they did, but it got people's attention. So Monday afternoon we're going to be having another one of these conversations, and then also as we were just mentioning, I'm going to be on air with the Secors and the Madisons at 6 o'clock UK time. So if you're not out and about, get the drinks in, head on over and join us. And I just want to say thank you so much for your attention. I hope we covered what we intended to. I'm fairly certain we did, and I got to say again, thank you very much to Lisa. It won't be the last time I'll be talking to her. I did truly enjoy that. So thank you guys. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon, and I'll catch you in a little bit.